Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children, welcome to our online learning initiative. Today we are going to see a new lesson called planning. Planning. This is the primary function of a management. Okay? Because we have learned about the functions of management in the first lesson and it was just an introduction about the functions. So we saw that planning. Next to planning, we had organizing, then staffing, then directing, and finally controlling. So these are the functions of management which we will be learning in detail. Okay. So every function is a lesson for us now. Now we are starting with planning. Planning is the beginning of the management process. Okay. And it is needed for any organization. Take for example, being a student, if you are getting your exams nearing, first what you will do, you will sit and plan how to learn for the exam or how to prepare for the exam, isn't it? And you will frame a schedule with the time available and with the portions you are supposed to learn, and you will plan according to your time and the portions you have to learn, isn't it? So how much portions to learn or how many lessons to learn a day within the estimated time limit. So all those things you will plan. So if planning is necessary for a student level itself, then think about the organization, how big each and every organization is, how much money is invested. So they cannot take any risk in the money with the money invested, isn't it? So every organization needs planning. That's why we say planning is the first function of management. Now we'll see what is the definition of planning. Planning refers to the process of setting objectives for a given time period, formulating various courses of action to achieve them, and then selecting the best possible alternative from among the various courses of action available. See, we may have to first set an objective, okay, and that objective should be for a specific time limit. For a particular period we have to set the objective. Like for example, you may set an objective saying that in the first cycle test you have to score above 90, and in the second cycle test you have to score above 95. Likewise, you may set objective for a short period, isn't it? Or for a particular time limit. Same way in an organization also, for a given time period, objectives are set. And after setting the objectives, they will formulate various courses of action. So formulating is the next step. That is, different actions which are available to achieve the objectives that are set. That will be formulated. And after seeing the various actions available, then they will evaluate each and every alternative. Okay, so they will just discuss what are the pros and cons of each and every alternative that is available and select the best possible alternative from among the various courses. Like how it is, like when you go for a shop to purchase a chocolate, among the various brands available you will choose one brand, isn't it, which is best, which you consider the best value for your money. So same way here also, various courses of action will be available, various ways will be available to achieve the goals that are set. But among the various courses we have to select the best course of action which is available. Okay, so this process is called as planning. And planning actually is a process of thinking before doing. Okay, it bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to go. Suppose if this is where you are, so here is where we are, and here is where we want to go. Okay, and this gap between where we are and where we want to go will be filled by planning process. Okay, so that is why we say planning is important in any organization. And planning is a choice making activity. We have to decide in planning. Okay, because among the various courses of action available, we are going to choose one best alternative, isn't it? So this involves choice making activity or decision making activity, and it also involves in setting up objectives. We have to set an objective, and that too for a particular period. Okay, so we are the person who are going to fix our own target. Okay, like for example, a top level manager who is actually formulating plan for the organization may set a goal by analyzing the business environment, by seeing the resources available in the organization. He needs to set goals. Okay, so in that way, this involves setting up of objectives. And planning always is developed for a given time frame. That's what the definition also says. For a given time frame, a planning is made. Okay, or we will set an objective and we will plan how to achieve the objective, right? So this is the meaning of planning. So that's what is given here. We are thinking before doing, and we have decision making or choice making activity. Planning involves setting up of objectives, and planning is developed for a given time frame. Now we'll see the features of planning. Planning focuses on achieving objectives because planning is goal oriented. Okay, because we always target on achieving the fixed objectives, right? So that's why we say planning focuses on achieving objectives. And planning has to develop and facilitate the accomplishment of the organization's objective, because the objectives provide the basic guideline for the planning to go ahead or move ahead. Okay, next, planning is the primary function of management. Among the whole process of management, planning is the first function, which means it is the primary function, because planning gives the guideline how to proceed on with the management process. Okay, that's why we say planning is a primary function of management. Planning is pervasive. Inside the organization, any department is concerned, planning is important. Whether it can be a production department, or whether it can be a finance department or sales department or HR, personal department. So all departments should have their own plans. Okay, it means every department will have their own objectives set to reach, right? Next, planning is continuous. Of course, planning is continuous because planning is a part of management process. So when we say management process is continuous, of course, planning is also continuous. We cannot set objective for one financial year and can say that we have earned a lump sum profit. So we need not have planning for the next year, like that we cannot say. Planning is continuous till the lifetime of the organization. Next, planning is futuristic. We always foresee the future. We analyze the business environment, we foresee the future, and we actually develop our own assumptions about the future. Okay, so planning always will be futuristic. We think about the future, we estimate the we have our own assumptions for the future events, and we will try to equip ourselves to face those challenges. Okay, so that's why we say planning is futuristic. Next, planning involves decision making, of course, because we have various ways or various alternative courses of actions are available to achieve the set objectives, and we have to choose the best alternative among the available choices. So this involves decision making. Next, finally, planning is a mental exercise. Planning will be normally done by top level managers of an organization, and as we have already read about the work of top level managers, they have to work only with their mind. Okay, so psychological work is more for the top level managers when compared to other employees in the organization. So planning is also done by top level managers, and it involves a mental exercise. They have to think a lot, so it means they cannot have a time restriction for their work. Okay, like how we say 8 hours of working is only mandatory for any worker, like that we say, isn't it? So that is not compulsory for a top level manager or anybody who is involved in planning, because they have to always think about the objectives and what to be set and how to reach it and whether it is feasible. So that's why we say planning is a mental exercise. Okay, so that's all for today, children. Thank you.